All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all for attending this evening. I appreciate you coming out and learning a little bit more about Acadia and what we have to offer here. Just to sort of give you an idea of how it will go forward tonight, I'll just start off by doing a little presentation about Acadia and sort of what we offer and who we are. At any point, if you have a question, you can put that in the Q&A section. I'll get to those most likely at the end of the presentation. I probably won't see them while I'm doing the presentation just because it takes up my screen to actually present. But feel free to put questions in throughout the presentation or hold them towards the end, and then at the end we can do some Q&As and feel free to ask any question you have. Other students might have similar questions, so it's always good to have those questions out there. And then, if you have additional questions afterwards that you didn't get to ask or you thought of afterwards, you can contact me on my email address you can see there on the screen. I respond to that pretty fast most of the time since I am recruiting out west in Alberta and whatnot. I tend to be up rather late and early for Alberta students because I am here in Nova Scotia at Acadia. So my times can be a little weird, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Shay Grover. As you can see, I'm an enrollment advisor here at Acadia, so I do pretty much everything west of Ontario. I attended Acadia University from 2014 to 2018. Took a Bachelor of Science in Psychology. I graduated in 2018 and continued on to do my master's at the University of Calgary, where I graduated in 2020, and now I'm back here at Acadia. Luckily, got that move over with before things got a little bit too crazy. Yeah, other than that, as you can see on your screen, there is a little QR code there. If you wanted to take out your phone and just scan that, what it'll do is it'll take you to like a side site that'll just ask you for like basic information like your name and program that you're interested in, and that'll just give you a free application to Acadia. And that's just sort of for attending tonight. That's the easiest way to get that free application, but you can also just email me if you do happen to apply. If you used a different email address than the one you signed up with tonight or what have you, just let me know, like, hey, I attended the info session and you said I could have a free application. I'll happily waive it for you. I'm pretty lenient with how often I waive application fees. So other than that, we're about 5 minutes past here, so I will get started for anybody who isn't here yet. I think we can go ahead without them at this point. So just a little bit about Acadia. So we were founded in 1838. We're one of the oldest and most established universities in the country. So we predate the country itself. So we have a very long history of offering academics here in Canada and obviously in the Atlantic region. So we're home to about 3,000 to 4,000 students really at any given time. They come from 65 different countries in every province and territory. So we have quite the diverse population here on campus. All that's located right here on this 250-acre campus. So we do have a small campus, which is sort of respective to the size of Wolfville and whatnot. It is about half the town itself. So we have, all of our facilities right here on campus. You don't have to travel, 30 minutes from a train to get to a different part of campus, at a larger university or whatnot. Everything that you could want is pretty much right here, right on campus, 2 to 3 minute walk away. So that can be really great. That also means that we're able to offer a very small student to faculty ratio. So we're at about 1 to 14 currently. So that's one professor for every 14 students. So that's probably better than the high school you're at right now. So we do like to offer that really close learning styles where you get to ask your profs questions, work with them closely on research and those sorts of things, so that you can get that like hands-on experience, make those professional connections with your professor, and also just learn a little bit more intimately than here's the PowerPoint and then you go home at the end of the day. We like to learn very closely. Some of our classrooms still have chalkboards for some of our smaller classrooms, so that you can actually interact and actually just learn on that side, which is really, really interesting and honestly a little rare to come across nowadays. Our average class size is 28. So like I said, like we do have some smaller class sizes. The average overall is 28. Some of your intro courses would be obviously a little bit larger in your first year. Some of those you could expect on the higher end, maybe 40 or whatnot students. But then in your third and fourth year, your class sizes are going to be really small. Like I've personally had classes that were less than 10 students. So again, you get that really sort of close-knit learning style here at Acadia, and that's really what we like to offer and sort of our specialty here. That doesn't take away from our academics at all either. We're the top undergraduate university in Nova Scotia, and we're the top 3 undergraduates in Canada. So like I said, we're very established. We offer a very high level of academics, but we're able to do so in a very close learning style. So you can have that extra attention and learn, more specifically what you're interested in, and that really helps you, in your further career, whether you go on to graduate school or get a job immediately outside of your undergraduate. You'll have that more direct understanding of your program that can be extremely beneficial later on in the road. In case you didn't know where we're located, we are located in Nova Scotia in the Annapolis Valley. So it's about a 4 hours flight. It's not a big deal at all. I'm Calgarian myself, so I know the experience of flying from Calgary to Acadia every year, of course, and back again as a student. So I can say just from personal experience, it's not a big deal at all. 4 hours is one of the shortest flights that you can have in Canada. It's pretty much equivalent if you went to U of A. So I'm sure U of A is on your radar. So instead of driving, you would just be sitting idly in a chair, maybe catch the red eye and just sleep through it, which is honestly, in my opinion, a little bit better than actually driving up to Edmonton. But to each their own. That's just a little bit to show you where we are and whatnot. So Nova Scotia is actually one of the warmer provinces, if you weren't aware. Just being Calgarian myself, I know that those Alberta winters can be quite harsh. Those minus 40 nights sometimes with those cold warnings. It's definitely rough. I got caught a couple times last year in some cold nights after transit had stopped. So I had to walk home, and I can promise you it never gets that cold here. And you also don't have to worry about transit here at Acadia. So that's another big benefit. Anywhere you want to go in Wolfville or at Acadia, it's going to be 5 minutes away. So if you're walking home or walking to the store or having a night out at the pubs or whatnot, it's going to be 5 minutes to walk home. So you don't have to worry about that at any point, even if it was cold here. But it is rather warm. It's the second warmest behind BC. So we do have a little bit of a warmer winter, a little bit more snow probably than you would have in Alberta. But it is nice. It's really warm over the winter. We don't have Chinooks, unfortunately, so you guys have us beat there. But I think overall we have a bit of a warmer winter. It is a coastal area, so I know where you're from Alberta. You're probably more interested in mountains or whatnot, but we trade them over here for the ocean. It's a tough trade, but I prefer the ocean personally. So yeah, we're a very coastal area. Anywhere in the province, you can't be any more than 70 kilometers away from the ocean at any given time. Here at Acadia, we're right on the water, right on the Bay of Fundy. So you're not even a kilometer away here. Yeah. Just sort of situate you on where Acadia is and where Wolfville is in respect to the capital city of Halifax. So if you were to fly into Acadia, you would land in Halifax International, and we're about 45 minutes away from the city of Halifax itself. So if you did want to come up for the weekend from Acadia, spend the weekend in Halifax, very common for students to do that. Pretty much everybody comes and goes to Halifax like it's nothing. I know sometimes that sounds like a big deal, but when you are more rural, 45 minutes is really nothing. I mean, you can get stuck on, if you are from Calgary, you can get stuck on Crowchild for over an hour. So it's what's the difference really at the end of the day? So it's not a big deal. A lot of students like to come up to Halifax. Halifax is a great city, gorgeous city, right here on the water. It's got a lot of different arts and cultures and whatnot since it is such an older city. So a lot of students like to get away, enjoy a night here. Maybe stay at a hotel here, enjoy some of the nightlife perhaps. Definitely something you can do. There's Maritime Bus that will take you up. They do student discounts as well, so it's relatively inexpensive to bus up, and they drop you off like right here. It's like the bus stop, so you're pretty much right smack in the center. You can also just, like I said, everybody drives up all the time, so you can just carpool. Since we are like a really close community, one of the more common situations that you'll come across here is called Acadia carpool, where you'll just share rides up to Halifax and back again. Most of the time, it costs you like $5 in gas just to pitch in. Sometimes, if it's your friends, obviously they're not going to charge you. So, if you did, want that adjustment from me. If you are coming in from Calgary, I'm not sure where you guys are watching from. I'm assuming a lot of you probably are in the Calgary region, maybe Edmonton. If you want to adjust and explore the city, by all means. But we're located more so in a more sort of rural area of the province. So we are in what's called the Annapolis Valley. So the Annapolis Valley is like the sort of fertile region of Nova Scotia. It's a little bit deeper in. When you come over the hill, you'll see this sign here on your screen, the exit 10 sign. You'll sort of come up on a hill and then you dive down into the valley, and you can sort of see all of the Bay of Fundy and all of the Annapolis Valley when you come in. It's really gorgeous, and it's pretty iconic here, this sign. And then you'll drop into what is the town of Wolfville. So Wolfville is very what you would call like wine country. So you would come in and you're going to pass like 9 or 10 different vineyards on your way in. Throughout the town of Wolfville and surrounding areas, there's like, just off the top of my head, I can think of like 7 or 8 full-blown farmers markets, like Sterling's and Elderkins and these sorts of things. It's a really gorgeous, cute little town, really high quality. The buildings are all gorgeous and whatnot. It's pretty much what you would expect of like a quintessential college town if you were to watch like a movie about a small town college or whatnot. You would be picturing Wolfville. So Wolfville itself is really a leader in community well-being. It's regarded as one of the more progressive small towns in the entire country. A lot of different small towns around, I guess even the country itself, use Wolfville as sort of like a basis for how they'd like to build their own town, because Wolfville has really succeeded as focusing on the town itself and nothing else. So we don't do any like big box stores. We don't do any drive-throughs. Everything here is like a walkable, independently owned small business or something along those lines. Really, the only thing that couldn't be considered that is the Tim Hortons. Maybe there's a Subway here as well. But other than that, it's all independent restaurants, independent little stores. There's like a knitting store, outdoor store, those sorts of things. There's playgrounds, those sorts of cute little activities and stores that really fit the needs and requirements of the students here and the people who live in Wolfville. Like I said, the town itself is pretty much exclusively here to serve the town of Wolfville, and the town itself is about half Acadia students. So it really caters to students and student needs as well. So like I said, Wolfville itself has about 4,000 residents. There's well over 15 restaurants, pubs, bistros, cafes, these sorts of things that you can spend time at, enjoy. There's Chinese, Korean, Italian, Greek, whatever you're into, it's all right here, and it's all locally owned, really high quality meals and those sorts of things. There's a bunch of parks and trails here. Since we are in the Annapolis Valley, right on the Bay of Fundy, there's a lot of gorgeous trails and provincial parks and whatnot to take advantage of. And that's all really located in about 7 square kilometers of land. And that's, the town of Wolfville and Acadia side by side. As you'll see here, this is Main Street. It just continues on over here to Acadia University. So we're all on the same street. We're all in the same area. I'll show that more right here, as you can see. This is like the university itself, as you can see, is like the residential areas. So these are a lot of our main residences. This is this white building here. That would be meal hall. Let me just laser pointer instead. That might work a little better. So that's meal hall there. These are all residences here. University Hall. Obviously the gorgeous Bay of Fundy. Cape Blomidon, Cape Split out there, hiking trails, provincial parks, those sorts of things. And then over here's the town of Wolfville. It cuts off a little bit on your screen there, but like I said, it's very much half-half, very much community-based, connected, small town. Really gorgeous, and I think you guys would really love it. It is what sold me. I'd never been to a university town before. You know, I grew up rural, and then I moved to Calgary. I had never really gone to a university ever. I flew into Acadia, and then I was just sold instantly. It's so picturesque and welcoming, and yeah, it's just personally, I really love it here. So I know a lot of you are probably interested in the academic side of things rather than the town itself. So academically, we offer 3 faculties here, the arts, the sciences, and the professional studies. Across these, there's 30 different majors you can choose from, and then across those, there's 200 different degree options. So like I sort of mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, I was accepted to Acadia with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, and then throughout my time here in my second year, I realized I really love history, so I double majored in history. So you're able to do that. You're able to double major, major minor, those sorts of things, and you're even able to do that cross faculty. So if you are a science student, you can double major in the arts. If you are an arts student, you can double major in the sciences. And you can do this really at any point in your degree. I did it at the end of my second year. Some students do it at the end of their 4th year. Some students, you know, change their degree 5, 6 times before they figure out what they truly love. It is very common. A lot of students, a really large percentage of students actually do change their degree either once or twice while they're at Acadia, or actually just university in general. So very common. You know, sometimes you're not sure entirely what you do want to do, what you do want to apply for. After your 1st and 2nd year, you can take some courses across different departments, and then, you know, maybe you'll realize what you really like. Like for me, example, I really loved history. I continued on in a historical-based master's. That was sort of a found passion of mine. I didn't realize I had until I took intro history here at Acadia. So we're really fluid like that. If you do want to change your degree or do want to double major, major minor, those sorts of things, we're open to that. But when it comes to academics and what we do offer, in the arts, we have all this sort of liberal arts you could really think of. So, you know, psychology, philosophy, politics, sociologies, histories, those sort of classics. And then we have, you know, languages, English, German, French, Spanish, whatnot. We offer a couple of other sort of unique ones as well. So we have economics as an art. We have psychology as an art. We offer theater, which is one of the best theater programs in the country and definitely in the Atlantic region. Women and gender studies, which is a multidisciplinary degree. So you take courses in whatnot from a variety of different departments. And then, you know, within some of these degree paths, there's additional streams you can take. So like history, you do Canadian studies, there's classics. Classics would be more of a traditional history, you know, Latin and Greek, those sorts of things. We also do environmental and sustainability studies, very common here, especially in the Bay of Fundy, this sort of environmentally conscious area here in Nova Scotia. So that's very common as well. And then when it comes to the sciences and whatnot, we have all the hard sciences you can imagine. So, you know, biochem, physics, math, and whatnot. Then we get a little bit more sort of specialized. So we offer, you know, geology, environmental science, environmental geoscience. Those are really, like I sort of mentioned earlier, very popular here just due to sort of the region we're in and the sort of environment in the Bay of Fundy. And again, we do offer economics and psychology as well in science, so you can take it either way. We offer computer science as its own degree, so you can really sort of focus more so on the computer science aspect. So a lot of different universities, they would probably put computer science under math or under physics. But if you do a computer science degree, entirely as a computer science degree itself, then you can make sure that the courses you're taking are directly related to computer science, and those will save you from taking additional, math or physics courses that aren't specifically related to computer science. And we also have, of course, nutrition and dietetics, which is very popular here as well. And then finally, we have professional studies. So professional studies are sort of more so hands-on degree streams. So you have business administration. It has multiple degrees that you could take within it. So there's like finance, marketing, accounting, those sorts of things. So you can focus more so on those. Very hands-on, as well as community development, another very hands-on program. We have education, as well as kinesiology and music. Music also offers a Bachelor of Music Therapy, so if that's something you're interested in, we are one of the few universities that actually offer that. It's very popular here at Acadia. So we also offer what's known as a health science option. So this is for students who are perhaps interested in going into the medical field, whether that be dentistry or medicine or really anything along those lines. Medicine in Canada is a postgraduate degree, so you would need a bachelor initially before you can pursue medicine in Canada. So if you were interested in that, you could, Acadia is definitely a great place to do that. We have our health science advisor, Helen D'Entremont. She'll work with you sort of one-on-one to make sure you're fully prepared for that postgraduate environment, whether it's helping you prepare for the MCATs or whatnot, or making sure you have the correct courses or volunteer work, those sorts of things. She'll work very closely with you to sort of increase your chances of getting into those schools that you're really interested in attending. So admissions wise, we do require English 30-1 for all of our programs. And then from there on, we require 4 additional grade 12 courses, which are from a sort of select variety of courses themselves. And then for every course, we also require 70% entrance, as well as 75% for our more competitive biology and kinesiology. So when I mention those 4 additional courses, I mean pretty much any really academically considered course here. So whatever you could imagine here, like math 30-1, social studies 30-1, these sorts of things. Really what would be academic. You know it when you take it, when it's an academic course and when it's more of a schedule filler. I know the feeling. Obviously, I went to high school in Calgary, so I know what sort of courses are more tough and which ones aren't. I was more of a 30-2 student, but I still got in, so can't complain. Some of our programs, they also require some additional requirements. So like, let's take biology, for example. So for bio, you need 30-1, math 30-2, as well as chemistry 30. But one of the big benefits here is that when you do require these additional program requirements, they are considered from that 4 you have. So or those 4 that you need. So bio, whereas you need a math and a chem. So let's say math 30-1 and chem 30. Then you only need 2 more courses in addition to that English 30-1 that's required in every course. So it becomes really easy to sort of flush that out a little bit more. And there's a very good chance 2 of your courses are going to be academic. So there's a high likelihood that you're already sort of set on that way to get into the program of your choosing. So if you did need to find this information, this is all online as well. I know there's a lot of specific program requirements and specific courses to remember. You can always, take a picture if you want on your phone, or you can just find it online when you Google, Acadia admission requirements, Alberta. Those will all pop up. So for tuition and fees, you're going to look at about $9,200 for Canadian students. There's a little sort of, with everything else included, you're going to be looking at about 23,000. This can change sort of depending on what you personally choose, right? So if you have your own health and dental, you can opt out of health and dental. You can also pick a variety of different rooms that we offer here. They do change prices depending on what you choose. So there's like premiums, singles, deluxe doubles, standard doubles, those sorts of things. You'll see that later when you do apply and you do pick your residence room. So these are sort of different choices that you can make that will change or raise or lower your costs. So, but in general, that's a general idea of what you can expect. So scholarship-wise, we offer over $4 million every year. So it's quite a high amount when you only have 3,000, 4,000 students. You're automatically considered for scholarships when you apply. And then if you have over an 80% average upon applying, you will receive a scholarship guaranteed. And then from there, it's sort of a tiered system. So there's 4 tiers of scholarships. They sort of change from year to year because we do it on sort of a like rotational basis in the sense that we consider it different every year. So it's sort of like a standard deviation situation in that we always give out the same amount of money, but we divide it differently depending on the average student grade or whatnot. So I can't say a 90% you're going to get this entrance scholarship because in reality it's going to be like a 92.7 because that's the standard deviation or what have you. But I can say, from 80% up to, let's say, a perfect 100, there is, quite a bit of variation, but the top that you can get as an entrance scholarship here is 40,000. So it is quite a great scholarship to get. All of our entrance scholarships are also renewable, so keep that in mind. If you continue to excel, continue to succeed as a student, we'll continue to fund your academics. A lot of universities have sort of moved away from renewables and they just offer sort of one lump sum entrance scholarship. But we're happy to continue to reward you as a student when you keep coming to Acadia and you keep succeeding. We'll keep paying that scholarship as long as you maintain your grades. And we also lowered the requirements for your first year. So we understand that transition from high school to university can be daunting, it can be tough, especially if you're coming, from Alberta to Nova Scotia. It's a new province, new place, new experiences. It's a lot to take in. So we lower that requirement for the first year, and then we'll put it back up in the later years. But in your first year, we give that room to breathe. If you show sort of additional need for financial aid, whether that's through a student loan or additional means or whatnot, we offer additional varieties of bursaries, scholarships, those sorts of things. There's also external scholarships that you can apply for when you do apply. So we do have one standard scholarship application, which will cover you for the vast majority, but there are some external scholarships that require a few other applications and whatnot. So you can find those all online. They're all listed on our website. Some programs also give out their own scholarships to students. Those would typically be, for second or third year students who are already here at Acadia and already performing in that program. But definitely a great motivation and option to look into while you're at Acadia. It never hurts to continue to get scholarships, that's for sure. There's also program-specific awards. So these are sort of like one-time payments that you don't even have to apply for these. They're sort of just automatically assessed based on like who you are and what you're interested in. So just for example, I got one for being a student who was interested in military history. They just give them out based on your personal interests and your personal achievements. They're typically given by donors who have a passion for that specific area, or they're in memory of somebody who went to that program, those sorts of things. And these are just, like I said, one-time sort of payments that you don't have to apply for, and you just get them right away. So they just help you pay for scholarships or tuitions, or I spent mine on a new laptop. Like you can do whatever you want with them. So that's really great. I got like 5 of those throughout my time here, and a lot of students receive those as well. So resources here on campus, we have a vast majority of or vast amount rather, resources here that you can take advantage of. Just some to name a few would be sort of like the counseling center here, where you just do one-on-one counseling with trained professionals. That's really great. I did 2 years of that. You can do it over the summer as well, which is, again, really great. Always good to have that support system here on campus if you're having a rough time, adjusting, or something happened and you want to, reach out to somebody. Always an option to go to the counseling center. We have a medical clinic right here on campus. We also have a bunch of other programs like Acadia Pride, the Women's Center, these sorts of things. We offer accessible learning services, so this is sort of for individuals who require maybe additional accommodations for their learning styles. So whether that's additional time to write exams, or having notes taken for you in class, those sorts of things. You can speak with Accessible Learning Services. You do sort of a one-on-one meeting with them. You get assessed, those sorts of things, and we'll make sure that you have all the resources you need to succeed. So we also have one of the best co-op programs in the country. So if you don't know what co-op is sort of a hands-on professional work experience that you would apply for in your second or third year on campus, where you would work with a company or whatnot, where you would continue to do your degree as you normally would, but then in the spring and summer you would work with them and do 3 work terms in total. Each of these work terms, on average here at Acadia, earn $10,000. So just on average, sometimes more, you would receive $30,000 while you're doing your degree. You're also getting hands-on personal experience in the field that you're interested in. You're making connections, which cannot be undervalued. I can just personally tell you, connections are very important when it comes to the professional world. So it's always really good to take advantage of the co-op program. And you're getting that money that can help pay for your tuition, help pay for any fees. If you happen to have a full ride scholarship, then you just made $30,000. So that's really great. We offer in 80% of our programs, some of the highest in the country. We have it's very high placement rate in most of our programs. So sometimes it's up to 90%, almost 100% for some programs. We're the only co-op for physics in the Maple League. We're the only Nova Scotia university to offer co-op for nutrition, and that's with the Nova Scotia Health Authority. So there's a lot of great options and a lot of great potential here when it comes to co-op. So I definitely recommend it. It's really beneficial for not only yourself, but to sort of learn those additional work experience and have those under your belt when you graduate. So when it comes to residence life, most of our students do choose to live on campus. So in the first year, 90% of the student body of first year students do live on campus. We have 11 different residence halls that you can choose from. They each sort of have like their own unique culture and traditions and characteristics. So you can definitely find one that'll fit your personality the best. We offer a first year guarantee. So if you're coming from Alberta, you want to make sure you have a place to live. We promise you there's a room here on campus for you. And then from there on out, you can continue to live in the same room. So we offer a buyout. So if you like your room, you can keep living in that same room for your entire time at Acadia. If you like your residence, you can keep living there for your entire time. That's, it's really great because if you're not in class, you're probably in your res. So you want to make sure you're living somewhere that you love and that speaks to your characteristics, has people there that you share, common sort of personality traits with, those sorts of things. I can just say personally, I lived in res for all 4 years of my undergraduate degree. I worked for residence life for 3 years while I was a student. I think Acadia has an amazing residence program since it is sort of like that small town feel and that sort of really sort of close-knit community. The residence houses become really closely connected. You make a lot of deep relationships that you'll keep for your whole life. So just for example, like personally, when I moved to Calgary from Acadia to do my master's, I moved there with somebody I knew from res. We became roommates, and that's a great experience to have those connections. Then you have, lifelong friendships. It can't be understated for sure. This is where you're going to make, the vast majority of your friends here on campus. You know, university is great for learning academically, but it's also great for learning socially, who you are, those sorts of things. And residence is where that happened. So I definitely recommend it. I like to do this sometimes just to show students a little bit about residence life and what we do offer here. So like I mentioned, these are all sort of main residences here on campus. So this is Tower, which is the tallest building in the valley. As you can see, it's not super tall, but there's not a lot of skyscrapers here in the valley. So this is considered the skyscraper of the valley. Not much compared to the Calgary Tower or whatnot. This is Cutton House. These are two very common first-year residences. This is Chase Court, so this is for students who want a single room, so it's single rooms only. Over here you have Tully House or Whitman House, which is female only. Over here you have the Quad, which is a collection of 4 different residences. So you have Chipman House, Eaton and Christopher, and then Rojo. Rojowdry, better known as Rojo, is a upper year only residence. So if you do want to live on campus after your first year, but you want to live in a more mature environment, you can definitely live in Rojo. I lived there in my 4th year. Only upper year students there, and it also has a variety of suites on every floor. So if you want to live with your friends in the same room, you can do that in Rojo definitely. Over here is Seminary House, which is the oldest residence in Canada that's still in operation. So it's very old, very gorgeous. One of my favorite buildings I've ever been in. Really old wood, high vaulted ceilings, super gorgeous. That's sort of connected, as you can see, to this building here, which is Denton Hall. So that's where theater students take class. That's where music students take class. And it's also very close to the Beverage Arts Center over here. So seminary ends up having a lot of sort of artsy students who do live there. So a lot of the time there'll be like jam sessions or sort of just like impromptu skits or plays or whatnot that happen in the house. And that's just sort of like I mentioned, each house has its own vibe, its own traditions. One of the ones of Seminary House is that they hold a haunted house every year. Since it has a lot of theater students, they're able to have those sort of acting individuals who are a little bit more in tune to knowing how to act as a haunted house member. And that's really fun every year. They collect money for charity. So that's just sort of an example of one of the environments that is offered here. Over here in this building, this is called War Memorial House, better known as Barracks. So I lived there for 3 years, and as you can see, it's sort of connected to the Science Center, which is, by the way, recently upgraded with a $22 million upgrade, which has all the state-of-the-art labs and whatnot. So just thought I'd throw that in there to keep you in the loop. And it's also really close to the athletic center. So a lot of the students that end up living in Barracks end up being either sciencey students or very sort of athletic students. That creates a really sort of fun dynamic that I really loved. Like I said, I mentioned, I lived there for 3 years, so a personal favorite of mine. And then all these residents up here are close to Meal Hall, so just good to sort of take that into consideration when you are applying. If you do want to reach out to me when you're applying for a res and sort of ask my personal recommendation on what you might like as a student, if you just tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's say you're an artsy student, I can recommend, Seminary House or whatnot. I'd be happy to do so. Like I said, I worked for Res Life for 3 years, so I know all these buildings like the back of my hand. But let's keep going here. So when you're on campus, living in Res or even off campus, you can take advantage of dining hall, which is known as Wheelock here. So since we are in the Annapolis Valley and that sort of fertile region of Nova Scotia, we're able to offer a lot of sort of fresh produce, local greenery, these sorts of things, as you can see. We also produce our own greens year-round. So we have our own grocer program here, our own little farm. So it's the first of its kind in the Atlantic region. We hire on students all year round, and we produce local greenery that we are able to use here at Meal Hall. So it's fresh local ingredients all the time. as you can see here, one of these students is taking advantage of what's called the My Pantry section of Meal Hall. So this is somewhere where you can learn to cook for yourself if you'd like. If you are craving something in particular, just want to explore how to cook, gain that expertise. I don't know how to cook, so I probably should have used it a little bit more. But definitely an option for students who are a little bit more adventurous, or if you are craving one specific thing, you can use any of the ingredients. All these cupboards and fridges, they're all stocked full of ingredients for you to use. No extra fee or anything like that. It's all included in your tuition or in your meal plan. This gentleman here is one of our many chefs that we have here on campus, so he would be responsible for obviously cooking the meals. But there's also a station here at Meal Hall called the Chef's Table, where you can cook one-on-one with the chef. So whatever the meal that they're offering, you can sort of request different variations, have it cooked to your specification, and it's just you one-on-one with the chef. Another really great option to help you, spread out and make sure you have nutritious and delicious options here at Acadia. As you can see, it's sort of at the top of the hill, so it overlooks the valley. Really gorgeous to just set up shop here, sit all day. If you want to bring your laptop and your books, you can do that. So we have an unlimited plan as our base plan here for students. So some universities, they might do what's known as a 21 meal plan, which is 3 times a day, 7 days a week, and meal halls only open at those set meal times. Here we do an unlimited plan, and we are offering meals all day long. So if you want to swipe in 500 times or 5 times, it makes no difference to us. Once you have that plan, you have that plan. You can spend all day in meal hall. There's obviously unlimited coffee. There's unlimited pizza. You can make your own pizza. There's a vegetarian station, grab and go meals. There's a salad bar, soup bar. Whatever you want, it's going to be here. And if you have special dietary restrictions, you can work one-on-one with the Chartwell staff here, and they'll make sure that you have a meal every single day that's directly, whatever your dietary restriction is. They'll make sure there's something here ready for you every meal. They're really great, really accommodating, really nice people, I can say with 100% certainty. They also like to do like fun little events pretty consistently, pretty much every week, sometimes every other week. They'll do different events, like they'll do like Chinese New Year or Caribbean night or whatnot, and they like to add variety to those meals. So there's always sort of a fun activity going on. Sometimes they'll do carnival night, so you'll come in and there's like bouncy houses to one side, carnival games to the other. There's cotton candy machines over on another side, karaoke machine going. It's a blast, and I can't understate how important it is to have that sort of relaxation that's release when it comes to school. Obviously, you're working hard as a student, you're writing exams, you're writing midterms, essays, those sorts of things. It's really great to be able to take a moment, relax, and enjoy those sorts of offerings here that they have at Dining Hall. If you want to get involved on campus, there's a bunch of ways you can do so. The Student Union building offers over 80 different clubs and societies that you can get involved with. Those are typically athletic or volunteer based, sometimes academic based as well. Those are sort of the 3 main tiers that they offer. They do club sports through the ASU as well. So if you want to get involved in athletics, but you perhaps don't want to do varsity, that's an option as well. But like I said, there's a bunch of different ways to get involved, and that's just with the student union alone. So as a student, you're automatically a part of the student union, and they're sort of I guess I call them a society. They're here to protect you as a student. They provide resources, sort of like I mentioned earlier, through Acadia Pride, the Women's Center, those sorts of things. Those are all housed in the Student Union building. And they are the ones that sort of coordinate all these different clubs and societies that you can take part in. Also, if you want to make your own club and society, you can do that as well. So let's say you really want to do like a rock climbing society, and they don't, maybe they don't have a rock climbing society. You can start that club yourself. You can become, the president or the vice president or what have you. You can receive an operational budget, so you have some money to, charter a bus over to a rock climbing facility in Halifax, maybe, or something along those lines. That's all paid for. And then you have that personal experience of on your resume of running a club, being the president. You also get to meet new people involved in that. Spread out your social circle. It's a really great experience, and like I said, there's a billion different ways to get involved. Bunch of employment opportunities as well. So if you did want to get involved in some of the employment options here in the town of Wolfville or Acadia, it's really there are quite a lot, since it's consistently hiring students. The students obviously graduate, they'll move on to a different university, different area. So there's always jobs, always in rotation. There's a bunch of jobs here on campus as well, offered by the university. Like I mentioned, I worked for the university for 3 years here. So there's always a way to get involved. And then finally, athletics. So we have 11 different varsity sports teams here, 4 of which made the national championships in 2019. So we have great athletics here. You attend all the games for free. You can participate in recreational sports. Like I mentioned, there's club sports, which are a little less daunting than varsity sports. And then club sports themselves also have 3 different tiers of competition, some more competitive than others. There's intramural sports, recreational sports. So there's always something to get involved in, and that's all included in your tuition. You can use the gym, the ice, the field, the court. That's all sort of included here in your tuition and fees and whatnot. So I know some of you may have applied already, but if not, you can apply today. Like I mentioned, it's a free application. It's not a long application at all. We just need basic information from you, what school you went to, who you are. Once you apply, like I said, it's completely free. You can reach out to me. I'll waive that if you want. Pretty much what we need at this point is just your grade 11 grades. So you can report those unofficially. So if you have a picture of your report card or an online screenshot, you can submit that. And then we just need your grade 12 courses that you're currently in for both semesters. So that can obviously be blank scores. We just need to know what you're going to take so that we can see if you can get into that program or whatnot. So like I said, very simple to apply. So feel free to do so and reach out to me if you do apply. If you have any questions or just want to let me know, I'd be happy to talk with you about it. If you want to follow us anywhere, it's all new to Acadia U. And then I'll just leave my contact information there up on the screen. So yeah, if anybody does have any questions, like I say, you can throw those in the Q&A section. I can try to answer those to the best of my ability. If you have additional questions later on, go ahead and send me an email. But I'll just give you an option here now to type those out in the Q&A section and get them answered right away. Sorry, I went a little long there. I know it's typically I like to stay about a half an hour, but it looks like I dipped over about an hour long. So sorry if I was a little drony there. Told you maybe too much that you wanted to know, but so far I'm not seeing any questions, so I'll take it that I told you everything you wanted to know. Yeah, no questions. So like I said, I'll just give it a couple more seconds here, give you some time to type it out, and then if not, I'll wrap it up for the evening. Like I said, feel free to contact me at any time. I'm always available to chat. You can also book one-on-one sessions with me. If you go to the future students page at Acadia, there's a way to just click my face and we can book a one-on-one meeting. But yeah, looks like there's no questions, so I will leave it for this evening. Feel free to reach out to me. But other than that, everybody enjoy their night, and I hope to hear from you soon. Okay, bye everyone.